This is DMY Institute, and watch this video if you are an Indian and interested in pursuing an MBA program and you're concerned about the choice of IIM, ISB, and the top tier international business schools. In this video, we will talk about some of the key differences among these schools. Before we get into that, I want to provide you a quick snapshot of the rankings of the business schools. These rankings are based on a combination of the difficulty in entering these business schools and alumni preference and an average of the last 5-year rankings. Let me read them for you. Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, INSEAD, Columbia, London Business School, Chicago, MIT Sloan, IMD, Switzerland, Tuck Business School, Kellogg Business School, UC Berkeley, Institute d'Empresso, Cambridge, IESC, HEC, Oxford, NYU Stern School of Business, Yale School of Management, University of Michigan Ross, Darden, Cornell, Duke, UNC, Carnegie Mellon. There are certain business schools that has a star, and these schools have a higher potential to move up in terms of rankings. HEC, Oxford, and Cambridge because of the brand recognition through their alumni. Berkeley and MIT because of their technology focus. Technology is one of the key reasons for the growth of large companies in the last decade, such as Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Apple. So going into the next slide, before we get into the differences, I just want to highlight the kind of progression, the job progression in investment banks, hedge funds, and venture capital firms. Most of the pre-MBA candidates would have had about 3 to 5 years of experience in investment banking or strategy consulting or industrial job positions prior to joining the MBA. And they are either analysts or senior analysts before they need an MBA in order to get promoted to an associate or manager level positions. Sometimes it is a requirement in these organizations to get an MBA to move to these positions. So with this understanding, let's start understanding the key areas. One of them is if you're really looking for high paid jobs, especially in hedge funds, venture capital associates, or investment banking associate position, especially in the mergers and acquisitions or strategy consulting, these jobs are of primary importance because they pay the huge salary, compensation, bonus, and that make up nearly $200,000 US in terms of overall compensation. And if you're looking for such kind of jobs, the best option is to go through the top 3 business schools, which is the Harvard, Wharton, Stanford. You can still open the doors for these firms and positions if you are in the top 20 business schools. However, with IIM or ISB, the offers will be specific to India, and maybe only at an analyst level in case if you're positioned in a global location such as London or New York. So because of the big pay structure associated with all these levels in the organizations, some of the compensation numbers shown in newspapers or placement statistics might actually mislead you. The compensation on the job level are actually lower or far lower than what's offered to an MBA graduate from Harvard, Wharton, or Stanford with the same experience and expertise. So there may be some exceptions, but exceptions are exceptions. So let's go into the next key area. If you're one of those interested in switching career, for example, if you are an IT consultant with 4 years of experience in Microsoft and want to switch to investment banking, especially like associate for mergers and acquisitions in Goldman Sachs, or if you want to move into strategy consulting, this is a fairly bigger jump, and it's mostly possible only with the top 7 business schools. However, it is possible with IIM and ISB. The role will be an analyst level role, and the compensation will be lower than your counterparts in the top 7 business schools. There could be some exceptions, but you have to treat them as an exception. The issue with being placed as an analyst, both in this job role as well as the previous one, which is like hedge funds, venture capital, private equity, is that let's say you're in New York for Goldman Sachs. Your promotion as an associate or manager will involve some kind of sales, and that's quite difficult without the networking and the local culture understanding. So normally you make up for these gaps while you study in the top tier business schools and through your internships. But however, since you're not doing you're not staying in the United States or Europe for 2 years, or you're not having an internship, it is kind of very difficult to prove that you are an associate material, and also you may not get the opportunity to work in associate level kind of opportunities inside the firm. So your career progression will be very tough outside India, especially if you come from IIM or ISB. If your dream is to work for the top venture capital or hedge funds or investment bank, and you don't care about the job roles or compensation, then the best way would be to go through the IIM, because it's much more easier to get placed in these organizations through IIM. On the next key area, strategic jobs, especially with General Electric, like rotational leadership programs or product management programs at Microsoft, Google, Amazon, or Apple, there are considerable differences in the job levels and area of focus and compensation if they are offered to an IIM graduate versus what's offered to a top 20 business school. The situation is slightly better in ISB. However, the positions might be in Asia or India. So, another key area that I want to address is the openness when it comes to networking. So if you're in the top 20 business schools, most of your classmates are already with a solid credential and have a senior management or executive level connection in their previous firms. So their ability to put forward your career aspirations to these connections are very high if they know you through your MBA program. Because in the MBA program, there are lots of opportunities for your classmates to understand your potential and whether you would be an asset to theirs or their friends' organization. So, for example, the opportunities could be there's a case cracking during the classroom sessions, the kind of questions that you ask during the class, and also like when you do team projects, the kind of inputs that you bring into the project work. Also, while you're out with them, let's say in a party or a sports or an event, the way you manage the conversations. So these kind of opportunities help your classmates or colleagues to understand your potential and put it forward to your potential employer. The other thing is alumni readiness to help is like when you send a note to an alumni to understand something regarding the job or the company and ask them for like 15 minutes of their time, the readiness of the alumni to find a spot for you in their busy schedule is something the top tier business schools are very good at. The concept of networking is not possible in IIM scenario or ISB because as your classmates do not have the necessary connections in the first place, and moreover this is not practiced much within the Indian culture. ISBs just offer a slightly better version than IIM, but this is more of a limitation from the Indian culture than anything to do with the business schools as such. You got to note that most of the top tier MBAs who do not find a job through the companies visiting the campus, the top tier business schools, especially the top 20, end up getting the job through the networking. While it's only different in IIM and ISBs because they get placed in the first 3 days or 3 days of campus interviews. Another key factor that I want to bring out is the faculty, classmates preparation and participation in the class. In IIM, MBA is more through the books and with some teamwork based projects and classroom sessions. In the real world, one needs both analytical and emotional intelligence to understand an idea or an issue and distribute that information to various levels of staff. So, IIM graduates lack in the emotional intelligence because of the lack of work experience, and also there is an Indian education limitation. What I mean by emotional intelligence is that, let's say you understand how to solve one of the critical problems in your business. Once you know the solution, it's about presenting that solution and getting the approval from the management and the senior management prior to fixing the solution. This requires understanding the emotions and priorities of staff around you and also change management skills. These skills are not really given a lot of weightage during the school education in India. Indian school education during the school or college focus on books-based examinations rather than group team-based evaluations. The weightage is on the books and do not really value the teamwork or emotional intelligence without the work experience. So, however, in a top 20 business school, there is no way to escape this reality. People need space and schedule to generally work through their day-to-day activities. When you work with them through the teamwork and other projects, you totally understand all this cultural and emotional intelligence. Most of the top tier MBA students are already aware of, most of the business topics taught through the books. So they are there in the schools only to understand how they can get the most out of the school or the classmates and outside classroom participations. For example, if you're an investment banker or a consultant in your pre-MBA, there is not much MBA curriculum can teach you. Nearly 65% of the class pool, 33%, are investment bankers and management consultants. And so, generally they know most of the MBA curriculum already prior to even joining the MBA. However, IIMs teach you and want you to learn the curriculum, books, formulas, etc. So, in top tier schools, it's expected that you know 50% or more of the theory already prior to joining the MBA program. And the next area is teamwork projects. When you want to switch your career, let's say you're an IT consultant looking to get into a finance job role. During your MBA course, you will be provided with many finance projects. Your confidence and skills will sharpen within your project work based on the team members. Just because your team members are investment bankers and management consultants in the regions across the world, especially New York and London. And they have dealt with such kind of projects in their professional life already. So when you work along with them, when you put forward your ideas, you get an idea of how good you are in the situation. That provides you the kind of confidence to go and handle some of the interviews and discussions with the senior management when you deal with these potential employers. Due to the less experience needs in IIM, the concept will not apply. ISB may be better, but then the international viewpoints will not be possible because of the greater percentage of only Indian students in ISB. And the next key area is the brand. There may be many employees coming from the same business schools you studied in your post-MBA organizations. Especially, let's say, for example, you are from Stanford. You joined Walmart at San Francisco. So that's the United States. So you would be knowing almost all the Stanford MBA graduates in Walmart, and some of them will be senior and executive management level. So you can have them as mentors or advisors in your work, and you can talk to them readily than many of your colleagues. It could be on an event, it could be on something else. But you can talk to them readily. So you can cut through the political walls and reach the ears of a top executive because of your connection to the person through the business school. So your co-workers will love to get associated with you to gain credibility and goodwill. Overall, this helps you in getting visibility, a faster career progression, and a business execution. So with this, we will complete the comparisons. I put another slide to indicate what will be the future top tier business schools. This is based on the overall brand of the institute and the industry focus. Let's say, for example, Cambridge, Oxford, and HEC will move up the ranking later because of their alumni and the brand. Berkeley and MIT will also move up the ranks because of their technology focus of the MBA participants. Most of the recent big industry growths happened in the technology in the last decade. Very large market capital companies such as Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Google, they've all created a lot of manpower need in the technology area. Because of that, these schools will go up the ranking. With this, I will stop the video session. Please watch my other video sessions if you're interested in higher studies. Thank you.